I'm Dr. Stephanie Reno, a clinical social worker and the Director of Clinical Practice and Training at Cohen Veterans Network, a national not-for-profit network of mental health clinics for post-9/11 veterans and military families. Welcome to the CVN Measurement-Based Care Training Toolkit, a comprehensive set of training materials specifically designed to help you practice and implement measurement in a clinically meaningful way to enhance quality of care. In this video demonstration, we are focusing on the Patient Health Questionnaire, or PHQ-9. The PHQ-9 is a self-report scale that screens for major depressive disorders, as well as depressive symptoms, insomnia, and suicide risk. Here, you will meet Dr. Brown and his client, Kate. You will see how Dr. Brown explains the rationale for the use of the PHQ-9, including tracking progress over time and screening for specific issues and concerns that may be impacting Kate's well-being. His explanation of how and why the PHQ-9 is used increases Kate's understanding and buy-in to completing the measure. We're entering into their session soon after it has started.
I'm sorry to hear your mood has been a little worse this week, and it's something I think it's worth talking about in today's session. But I see you haven't filled out the PHQ-9.
Yeah, I do it every week. I'm depressed all the time, and you know that, so I don't really see the point in doing it every time.
I can understand it feeling repetitive, but is this something we can talk about to make sure we're on the same page?
Sure.
When you complete the PHQ-9 at the beginning of each session, it helps us make an agenda to make sure it fits your needs. It saves us time because I don't have to ask the same questions each week. The items are helpful because it makes sure we're covering what's going on for you.
I see. Like what?
Well, if you remember, Kate, the PHQ-9 helped us to identify insomnia as an ongoing issue, and that led to you joining the CBT group for insomnia.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even realize how bad my sleep was.
Another way we use the PHQ-9 is to track your progress to see if things are getting better or worse, or to see if treatment is helpful or if we need to change course.
Okay, that makes sense. I can fill it out now if you want. But I do have a question. Do I have to answer the suicide question every week? I get so tired of having to say, no, I'm not suicidal all the time. I haven't had those thoughts in weeks.
Yeah, that can be an uncomfortable question. I'm always going to ask you about those types of thoughts as they're common with depression. Your safety is really important to me.
That makes sense.
Did you notice how Dr. Brown used specific examples from Kate's treatment to highlight the utility of the PHQ-9? Additionally, he uses item 9 to screen for suicidal ideation. Regular screening is essential, especially for clients experiencing depression. This topic can be sensitive for clients, and Dr. Brown fields this issue well with Kate. In this next scene, you will see Dr. Brown and Kate use the PHQ-9 to understand symptom severity and change from session to session. They use a particular item on the scale to identify an issue contributing to Kate's distress. Here, we're entering into a session just after Dr. Brown and Kate have done a mood check.
Okay, so I understand your mood's not been that great this week. I see you filled out the PHQ-9. Let's take a look at it. I noticed that on the last item you haven't had thoughts about suicide. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, even though things haven't been so good recently, I haven't had those thoughts in a while.
Well, that's good. In looking at your total score, it looks like you scored a 13, which is actually up several points from last week.
Yeah, it hasn't been a very good week.
And based on your total score, it looks like you're feeling moderately depressed.
Well, it's been an up and down week. I've had some good days and some bad ones.
Well, it's good that you've noticed changes in your depression over the course of the week. Have you noticed whether you've had more good days than bad ones, or more bad ones than good ones?
Definitely more bad ones.
I understand. Is that something you want to talk about today?
Yeah, that would be fine.
Sounds good. So on item 2, I've noticed you've been feeling more down, depressed, and hopeless. And then on item 6, you've been feeling worse about yourself. What are your thoughts about that?
It's just that when I lost it with the kids, I felt like such a failure. Although, now that I think about it, I do think I'm feeling better overall than when we first started.
Well, that's good to hear. But let's talk about feeling like a failure some more. Are there other situations that you've had recently where you felt that way?
Couldn't find a parking spot when I was shopping, and then I was late getting back.
Okay, let's continue to focus on this issue since it seems to be a recurrent issue for you. What do you think?
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Okay, so in addition to tracking your scores on the PHQ-9 to track depression every week, why don't we also track how you're doing on item 6, feeling like a failure, and see if we're making progress on that issue?
Sounds good, Dr. Brown. Thank you.
Okay.
Did you notice how the PHQ-9 is seamlessly woven throughout the session? The focus of the session is about Kate's life and concerns. It's not about the measure. It feels client-centered and relational. By using the measure to identify specific symptoms and track them over time, there is continuity between sessions and a comprehensive approach to tackling treatment goals. For additional exercises to implement measurement-based care in your practice, look to the accompanying practice guide.